this is definitely not a video you guys are going to want to miss, so sit tight and I hope you enjoy it. In this video I stay at Satara Rest Camp in the Kruger National Park, and I have some encounters with wildlife that I've never had before. I saw everything I had hoped to see and so much more. I chose to stay at Satara because of a whole long list of reasons, and after watching this video you might be able to understand some of them. Satara is located just below the middle of the Kruger National Park, and it doesn't get as busy as the camps in the far south, but the game viewing is just as good in my opinion. And at the moment it's 9:30 and I'm somewhere between Chikwani and Satara. I've had a really good morning. I've been taking it slow, but also trying to cover some good ground and get to Satara at a reasonable time. And just after Chikwani, I stopped just to have a look at the different birds and animals I could see from that viewpoint, and that was really great. I saw giraffe crossing the dry riverbed, and there was a black-headed oriole calling. It's been a really nice start to the day. Even though I was in a rush to get to Satara and set up a campsite, I had to stop and acknowledge the natural beauty that Kruger has to offer, and there is plenty of it. When I eventually arrived at Satara, I set up the campsite as fast as possible so that there would still be time to do an afternoon drive. Because it was out of season, Satara's campsite was quiet. Setting up the tent was a whole lot more difficult than I expected it to be. I have set it up before by myself, but I don't know why today it just wasn't cooperating. The campsite I'm on, I've actually stayed on it a few times before, so it's nice to have that same campsite. I don't know why people don't choose it. At the moment I'm heading north from Satara. I'm gonna go and do the S147 and then head back in the afternoon. So I'm on the S147 now, and I'm at this drainage line watching these African black crakes bath themselves and forage for food in the mud. And just before I turned onto the S147, I must have just missed the leopard crossing the road. It just disappeared so quickly into the long grass. But not all sightings can be perfect. I'm sure I'll get another opportunity. I'm over here at this Inyamiri Waterhole just south of the S147, and there are two tawny eagles busy having a drink here. and a flock of oxpeckers just pulled up. And I've just noticed now, about 100 meters away, there are 2 elephants making their way here. I wonder if the 2 tawny eagles will still stay at the waterhole while the elephant is drinking. I doubt it. Sitting here at the waterhole has definitely been the highlight of probably my day. Definitely my afternoon. I would say my day as well. This has been the highlight. And who knows, maybe I even see some more on the way back to Satara now. It's just gone 10 to 4, so I'm gonna have to head back soon. The sun has just covered everything in this golden light, and because it's setting behind me, I've been able to enjoy it all the way back to Satara. And just when I thought all the action was over for the day, this honey badger appeared from the long grass and made its way towards me along the tar road. It was only once it was much closer to me did I realize that it had a tiny newborn pup in its mouth. This was a sighting I've never experienced before. Often you can only have a quick look at the wildlife when making your way back to the gate before the closing time. Thank you so much for joining me. My time at Satara is only just getting started. This morning I left at around 6 o'clock. When the gates opened, there was a long queue. I wasn't anywhere near the front, and I decided to do the H6 this morning. I don't often do the H6. I haven't been too lucky on it recently, so hopefully I get to see something. But I'm parked here looking at a nice brown snake eagle facing directly into the sun, and it's a beautiful morning. There's a lot of mist around over the grass. I can't stop thinking about that honey badger sighting yesterday afternoon. I've never seen anything like that. Definitely one of the most special sightings I've had in the park. I was surprised to see this small flock of quailfinch on the H6. It's a bird I've only seen in northern KZN and not inside of the Kruger. It was a definite birding highlight of the trip.
There's a juvenile African harrier hawk here. It's busy scanning this dead tree for insects and maybe birds' nests. And a lilac-breasted roller is really unhappy. Whether or not it's got its nest cavity in this dead tree, I'm not sure. But the harrier hawk did look like it found something and it dropped it on the floor. There's also a starling that's busy watching the harrier hawk, but it's definitely the lilac-breasted roller that's the most unhappy about it. Nice to get such a good view of the harrier hawk out in the open foraging for food. It is May, so I don't think that the lilac-breasted roller should have a nest cavity this time of year. But it is interesting to watch how the harrier hawk holds onto the dead tree and uses its wings to hold itself up.
It's just gone 2 o'clock and I'm heading south to Chakwani. I'm going to stop at Kamana Dam and Masiti Dam and see what's happening over there. I decided to travel this route because I hadn't had any lion sightings yet. I was hoping to see the prides that hang out at Masiti and Kamana Dam. In general, Satara is a very good camp for lion sightings. I wasn't sure what these two green woodhoopers were up to, but in my opinion, they were testing out this cavity for the ideal nesting site. Right now I'm at Kamana Dam and it's very quiet compared to when I came past here yesterday at about midday. There's only one elephant drinking, and in the bush next to me was a big flock of parrots, about 10 of them, brown-headed parrots. And I was hoping they'd come and land in the body of water quite close to me. 4 of them decided that they'd land about 150 meters away. Still really nice to see them drinking though. The last time I saw brown-headed parrots drinking was at Giravana Dam, probably in 2019, a really long time ago. But in terms of cats, today's been very quiet. The birds were good though, which definitely makes up for it. And then just when I thought that no lions would be making an appearance on this drive, I had my first lion sighting of the trip. Followed by even more lions. I couldn't stay too long though because I had to make it back to the rest camp before the gates closed. Today was my second full day in the park and I was hoping to get some good big cat sightings. I definitely wasn't disappointed.
So this morning I woke up early and went around Satara looking for owls and other nocturnal wildlife. And even though I heard a southern white-faced owl when I got up at 4 o'clock this morning, I didn't see any owls or hear any owls inside of the camp. I think it's better to do it late at night than early in the morning. So that's what I'm going to do tonight after I eat dinner. But while I was walking around the reception, an African wildcat jumped out of one of the trees, and I got the fright of my life. I sort of heard the movement and then a thud when it hit the floor, and it was only about 5 meters from me. After I saw the lions yesterday afternoon, I decided I'd do a few Ks up the H6 this morning, hoping to see them. I don't like doing that. I did feel like I was chasing a little bit and I didn't end up seeing them. So now I'm sticking with my original plan of doing the H7 towards Orpin Gate, and I've stopped at the Garavana Waterhole that's just off of the H7, and there's a giraffe drinking here and a few zebra came past, and luckily a brown-headed parrot landed quite close to me yesterday afternoon. 4 were drinking at Commander Dam very far away, so this one this morning has made up for it. And now I'm going to carry on heading towards Orpin along the H7.
Sticking to my original plan turned out to be one of the best decisions that I made this trip. Even though there were a few burnt patches along the road between Orpin Gate and Satara Rest Camp, the route still produced some outstanding sightings. I've really been so lucky today, first with that pack of wild dog in the middle of the road, and then with that pride of lion. Since then I headed to Orpin, I had some breakfast, made coffee, stretched my legs, and now I'm heading back to Satara, and there was a cheetah in the road. I was just a bit slow with the camera, and it's disappeared into this piece of thick bush. It's been getting up and repositioning itself every now and then, but I haven't seen it for about 10 minutes now. The last 2 days I'd say have been pretty quiet in terms of cat and dog sightings. That's the first time I've seen wild dog this trip. And yeah, cheetah as well. What a brilliant morning. It is heating up now though, so I don't think it's gonna move. But there is quite a bit of impala around, so that's what's keeping me from leaving. It really would be great if the cheetah had to come strolling out of the bush, but it doesn't look like it's gonna happen. The footage in this video was captured using the MotionMount. Visit the website and order yours if you want to upgrade your filming and photographic experience. I've decided that I'm going to do the H1 4 north of Satara for the afternoon drive. I can't resist this road. I had such a good time driving it on Sunday afternoon. I just have to do it again. And I'm parked busy watching a herd of giraffe feed here. I'm sure this is the same herd of giraffe which were on the opposite side of the road 2 days ago when I headed north on my first afternoon. The days just feel so short with the gates opening at 6 and closing at 5:30. I'm trying to fit in as much as possible to sort of maximize my chances of seeing something good. I don't think anything can get better than this morning's drive though. Wild dog, lion and cheetah all before 12 o'clock. But let's see how this afternoon goes. This is a juvenile little beater. You can see that by his plumage not being fully developed yet on his breast. And what he just did there is regurgitate shells and other pieces of its prey that it can't digest. Many different bird species do that sort of thing. I've seen kingfishers do it as well. Although most migratory birds visit the park during the warmer summer months of the year, a few species like the African stonechat is present during the colder winter months, and often the male and female birds are seen together. What a great day that was in the park, from sunrise this morning on the H6 to those wild dog, the lion and the cheetah on the H7. In Kruger Park, the sightings don't stop once the gates close. This baboon spider was outside the men's bathroom at the campsite and it was causing quite the traffic jam. So it's about 9:15 now and I've been driving around Satara for the last hour and a half looking for owls. Without any luck, they just seem to be so much more active during the warmer months. Even though I heard that southern white-faced owl calling this morning, there aren't any calling inside the camp at the moment. I'll just have to try again in the morning. This morning I decided to head south to Chikwani picnic site, a route I don't usually choose to do in the mornings from Satara because there's usually a lot of traffic. But I ended up having one of my best leopard sightings of the whole trip, and it was followed by an even more elusive little cat sighting, one I haven't had before in the Kruger. I'm headed south towards Chikwani, and this leopard was walking north along the main road, marking its territory, and now it's resting for the last probably 3 or 4 minutes. And there's so much mist this morning, but this is definitely the best start I could have imagined. What a beautiful cat, and it's so relaxed around the cars. I don't think it gets better than this. It's my first proper leopard sighting. And then suddenly the leopard's eyes locked onto something in the bushveld next to the tar road, and like a flick of a switch it went from being very relaxed straight into hunting mode. What an absolute privilege it was to be able to spend some time with this stunning big cat. That's the sort of sighting you expect when staying at Satara. You just feel like anything can happen. There's going to be something around every single corner. The expectations are really high. This morning when I was in the queue waiting to leave the gate at 6 o'clock, you could hear lions calling in the distance, and there was just such a sense of anticipation and expectation for what the day will bring. Really is a special place, Satara. At the moment I'm on the S86, the Nwazitsonso loop. Yeah, so let's see what we see the rest of the day. What a great start. I really can't believe my luck today. I'm about 2 k's down the S125. It's the first serval that I've ever seen in Kruger. I don't know how it caught my eye, because it was in quite long grass, and I actually had no idea what it was at first. I could just see its back moving through the long grass, and in the glare of the sun, and I can't believe that it just sat still for me to film it. And it ended up crossing the road. Unfortunately, I didn't manage to get any footage of that. My camera has this auto off function, so it took a few seconds to switch back on again. And it's just gone 8:45, so can't believe it. First an hour with a leopard and now the serval. I'm gonna carry on to the picnic site down the road and have some breakfast, probably some future life, and make some coffee. The Hlangoleni picnic site was very quiet. There were no other visitors around, and there was also no wildlife at the body of water in front of the picnic site. I remember many years ago there was a pair of white rhinos drinking here, but today there wasn't anything.
There's a dead leopard here in the tree, just north of the Hlangoleni picnic site. Looks like it's been there for weeks. And the way it's positioned on the branch, it looks like it's going to be there for a while as well. Another leopard must have hoisted it there. A bit gruesome, but interesting to see. At the moment I'm at Valverdient Waterhole. It was a quiet drive here. 2 elephants have come and had a drink out of the water reservoir. I could also hear an African barred owlet calling on the other side of the watering hole. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to see it. There are a few old buffalo here, and also a herd of impala, a male and a few female impala. Hopefully this road can produce something. But even if it doesn't, I had such a good morning drive, I don't mind what I see. There I can hear the African barred owlet calling again.
Elephants usually spend the warmest hours of the day in thicker bush and only make their way to rivers and waterholes when things cool down in the afternoons. This is when you can see most of them having a drink. This morning I had to head north from Satara. I had good sightings in the other directions from the camp, and there was one more objective, and that was to see the leopards from the S147. This morning turned out to be one full of lion sightings, and I would have to wait a little bit longer to see a leopard along this road.
It's the first morning that I've had this trip where they've been lying in the road. They didn't stick around though, that big group of female lions. They walked off into the rising sun. Such a beautiful sight. And even though the S147 is usually good for leopard sightings, probably the second time that I've seen lion on the S147, it is such a good road. And I stopped here because there was a pearl-spotted owlet. The colder months are really the time of year to see pearl-spotted owlets. I don't know if it's because there are less leaves on the trees and the bushes, but a really nice start to the morning. Now I'm going to head back down the S90 and take one of the dirt roads back to Satara.
This is definitely Kruger National Park's most famous lion, one of only a few white lions that live naturally in the wild. His name is Casper, and at the time of filming this he is around 10 years old. From what I understand, he was born in 2014. A battle-scarred individual who would have fought off many other male lions to be dominant in an area like Satara where there are so many lions. I've been at Satara for about an hour now, and I had to move my table and chairs into the shade because even though it's cold at night, in the sun during the day it's really warm. And those of you that have visited Kruger or regularly visit, let me know in the comments which camp is your favorite and why it's your favorite. I always find it really interesting hearing why certain camps are people's favorite. Usually they point out things that I haven't noticed before. Because it was my last afternoon at Satara, I spent a lot of the time hoping to see and film something special, instead of just soaking in the perfect afternoon in the bushveld. And only when I saw the full moon did I realize that the highlight of my day was right in front of me, and I wasn't going to find it moving through the long grass. Later that evening, an African wildcat came to visit me at the campsite, and the next day would be the perfect ending to my time at Satara. Traffic's starting to pile up now because there's a leopard just south of the S147. It's my last morning drive of the trip, so this really is the cherry on top. It looks like the young male that was in the previous video that I uploaded with Shelly from August last year. Looks like the same male leopard that we saw with its mother. Unbelievable stuff. Absolutely unbelievable. He then decided to make his way south along the drainage line, which runs parallel to the tar road. This wasn't the first time I had seen a leopard do this exact same route from the S147 junction south to the Inyamaree Waterhole. This male is the grand cub of a leopard, which was very showy, and she was seen almost daily in this area. Possibly the reason why this bloodline of cats aren't shy and don't mind being seen regularly. What a legendary cat.
I left Satara about half an hour ago, and now I'm at a little bit of a roadblock here on the Nwazitsonso loop, the S86. I can't stop thinking about the sightings I've had over the last 5 days at Satara. Some of them have been unbelievable. That sighting this morning of that leopard was the sort of sighting that I was hoping for when driving the S147. Oh, there's a big elephant coming to inspect the car here. From here I'm going to be heading south towards Paul Kruger Gate, and that's where I'm going to be leaving the park. Thank you so much for watching. If you guys enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe and leave a comment. Let me know what you thought about it, and let me know which sighting, which moment in the video was your favorite.